What's up with the name Mr. Brain Health? And the reason why I asked that is because I remember a conversation me and you was having, and you told me something fascinating. We usually argue, a bit out of love though. But we was talking, I forgot exactly what it was. It might have been about religion. But something you said that stuck to me, you was like, people don't have fully developed brains until they're about maybe women a little earlier, 25 to 26, 25 to 28. That's for men and women. So, and I thought that was like fascinating because we go through a lot of things before the age of 28. So if you feel like, if you realize, damn, I don't even have a fully developed brain. I got children, I don't went through this, I did this, I did this. You did that with an undeveloped brain. So once you made me realize, I think I was maybe talking about religion, but I might have been talking about getting rid of people, like, fuck them. You know what I mean? And I think you might have, like, reeled me in by, like, they not even, we can't, it might have been children. We can't, like they're not even fully developed. So that's when I got my first introduction into brain health. You sent me some things, and I find it fascinating. So what got you on that journey, and why do they call you Mr. Brain Health?
Mr. Brain Health. Well, shout out to Community College of Philadelphia, first and foremost, because it was while I was in my case management course. I wish I remember my professor's name. But shout out to my professor. And she, I know it was a woman, she had introduced me to Dr. Daniel Amen. Now, I just did it, watched the video and did it for homework, but in a TED Talk, he introduced me to SPEC imaging. So at this time, he was a retired military x-ray technician and psychiatrist. And while being a psychiatrist, he got introduced to SPEC imaging, which is a brain scan that looks at blood flow and the brain activity. So it actually looks at the functional health of the brain versus, which he educated me in at the same time, a CAT scan or a PET scan that only looks at the structure. Then I also know that when it comes to the hospital and my own educational system and medical services, absolutely no one, I've never had a brain health nothing. I ain't never had a workshop. I ain't never had a worksheet. I ain't never heard a day, how nothing.
That's a fact, because they're going to tell you how to get your limbs together. You got to lift weight. They're going to tell you how to eat right for your diet. They're going to tell you what to eat for your heart. I have never heard anything about how to keep your brain healthy.
So that struck me right away. I said, what? But at the time I took it, did my homework, I said, oh yeah, this is brilliant, you know. So what happened was, shout out to Angel Say, good sister of mine. She works in the community. She works with an anti-drug organization right now. But at this time, she was working with me as a business consultant. And she said, and I still didn't do it yet, I'm gonna do it now. She told me I needed to write an article on brain health and, you know, on our program. So that led me, I'm like, all right, I'm going now. I had Dr. Daniel Amen in the tuck. Let me go pull him out. So I had to go do, you know, I'm using him as a source.
Research.
I go do the research. He had just dropped the book, Brain Health, Dr. Daniel Amen. The title of the book, The End to Mental Illness. The End. That's just a title? No, The End. Everybody that's on drugs, it's a book out right now to end it. Every mental health condition. It's actual, there's an actual practice. And I read the book, you know, and the way Dr. Daniel Amen has it set up, he got courses. I started taking the courses. He got courses set up so that as an individual, you can take the course, become brain health certified. As a medical professional, you can take it. And he has it so with the certs that they can get as medical professionals, you can add it to your practice. And then it's streamlined just like all the other coaching programs. So I knew right away with the proper packaging and launching, overnight we can end the violence, not only end the violence in Philadelphia, but heal every brain in Philadelphia.
Which is probably causing the violence.
That's where it comes from. And then as a student of behavioral health, it's like, behavioral health. All the things we plague our community are behaviors. What runs behaviors? The brain. What does the brain need? Healthy diet. Brain healthy diet. We got that now. Healthy mental health. with the brain healthy diet, but it's 4 circles that all medical professionals are supposed to assess your health through. Shout out to Dr. Daniel Amen for teaching me this. Through your social circle. So when your parents say who you hang with makes a difference, it actually does towards your health. Your social circle, this is what your doctor is supposed to be assessing and communicating with you, that they're not. So make sure that they do it moving forward. Checking with your social circle. Who are you hanging around with? How is it impacting you? Making sure you're hanging around good people. This is way past anybody's opinion. It's your health. Your psychological health. Not your overall, just your brain and mental. That's one whole circle. Everything time you get assessed, they do that. They ask us a little survey. Are you thinking about depression? No, they're supposed to go a little deeper. You understand? Then your spiritual circle. Your spiritual health. It blew my mind to know that every medical professional is supposed to look at our health and assess and give us feedback on the importance of a spiritual entity. To know they can't tell you what your spirituality is, but they're supposed to educate you that you need it. Why? Because you need to have, or it's helpful. You need to have hope in something outside of this world. Because it's going to come a time when the things inside of this world will let you down. And if you don't have a spiritual connection, that's when you're going to suicide and we turn to these unhealthy things. So it makes some sense scientifically. But that spiritual thing could be anything you want it to be. Hopefully it's good. It needs to be good in order for it to be effective. And the last thing I said, your physical health. So that's your rest of your body. So every time we get it, so he built this brain health practice through looking at your health through that. So the treatment plan is through that. And he uses nutraceuticals instead of pharmaceuticals. Now, let me educate you on what a nutraceutical is. It is the healthy version of the pharmaceutical. And sadly, I have to let you guys know, and happily at the same time, every pharmaceutical has a nutraceutical that these evil bastards have been choosing with all their wealth to continue to give us for every pharmaceutical that is synthetic and causes damage and cancer and heart attacks and all these things they guarantee just to sell a product. They know and have the base healthy nutraceutical that they could be offering. But instead of using pharmaceuticals, he uses nutraceuticals.
Pharmaceuticals is more expensive?
You ain't hear what I said? No. Pharmaceuticals are man-made medicine that causes damage. You take Tylenol and get rid of your liver.
Right. But so what is considered? I asked that because I was assuming that they don't give us the nutraceuticals because it's...
No, they just choose not to. They made the pharmaceutical off that. I didn't know that they know they could be giving us the good stuff. They're just choosing not to, bro.
Because you could just charge us up for the good stuff. If you wanted to, put a price on that.
We're all a big science lab. Just by choice. And all because he, in his speech in the TED Talk, he said, my dad called me the Maverick. And most people wouldn't think as that a good thing, but he said, I'm the Maverick because they told him at the Spec Imaging conference not to use it for the practice to help heal the brain. So I told you about the brain scan, but I didn't tell you that at the conference they told the psychiatrists don't use it to help people heal their brains. Only use it to give information to the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry. So this machine has been around forever and they're using the data from it and only to feed us more poison, but he went against that and built Amen clinics to actually make it accessible, and now they taking insurance and we bringing it to Philly and we here and we good, so we ain't gonna spend our energy on tightening them up. We are gonna tighten them up, we're gonna make them pay, but we're gonna spend our energy on getting our brain healthier, changing these systems over, taking control of wellness centers and development in Philadelphia, and making sure this never happens again.